Welcome to Cosmic Comics, Games and Collectibles, your zen of geekism. We carry comics old and new, magazines, toys, games like Pokemon, Magic, D&D. Want Godzilla, Ultraman, Star Trek, Ninja Turtles, Funko Pops? You'll find it all here. Shop our Cosmic Sound Room and pick up a record or two. Enjoy our Comic Coffee Lounge with a cup of Sasquatch coffee or a delicious menu item while geeking out over a super cool movie on our big screen. Come by and say hello to Maui. Cosmic Comic, Games and Collectibles. Superman loves us, and so will you.
And good afternoon, everybody. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at CriticalBlast.com. And today we are going to get into the crowdfunded world of comics a little earlier than we usually do because, well, you know, in the spirit of CromCon Europe, which is going on over at Pops Van Zant's Madness channel right now, we are moving things forward in time to accommodate our brothers in creative arms across the ocean so that they can get some sleep at a regular time instead of having to stay up until midnight just to talk to us about comic books sometimes. And with us today, we have Martin Fisher, who has a new book in the works called The Radiant Sight. Hello, Martin. Welcome to the show.
Hi, RJ. Hello. How's America today?
Well, this particular corner is wet and rainy. We've got a lovely little gentle rain coming down the mountain here, which is good. It saps some of the light away, but it also takes, you know, the temperature down from 102 to just like, 98. That's Fahrenheit. So I've been looking at some of the art for the Radiant Sight here, and it's got a very very manga kind of feel to it. Is that your goal? I mean, is that your influences?
Well, I mean, the story itself is inspired by the numerous Korean dramas I've been watching over the last 2 and a bit years. So that's kind of that Japanese Korean kind of style art. That's the way I wanted the book to go, very deliberately. Yeah.
I mean, we have the like the thumbnail here I'm showing. This, by the way, folks, is not the logo for the book. This is something that I made up for the thumbnail of the card just because I wanted something over here in this big blank area that we had up.
But it looks nice.
And well, thank you. I just download fonts and I use what I think fits. And this one had such an elegant look to it. I mean, the look of that gown, and I know that gown is very important, an element of the story here. And the roses and just, the way she's made up. Not, and even the wallpaper. It's got a very
classical
upper class.
Look.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, when we were coming up, when Mike and I were working on the logo, that font style was one that we did consider until we kind of landed on the one that we did, and we're very happy with the one that we actually chose.
So this is a bit of a magic story, a bit of a fairy tale.
It's got that tiny bit of element to it, but I wouldn't exactly call it a fairy tale. It's just because of the subject matter at hand that it could be interpreted that way, but I wouldn't necessarily call it a fairy tale. It may look like it, but there's definitely layers to it. That's for sure.
All right. So who is your main character here? Because as we've seen in the cover image here, and I'll just bring it back up again, the girl reflected in the mirror looks different than the girl who's standing in front of it. Some foreshadowing here as to what the story is really about.
Yeah. So it's the same person. So the lady's name, she has a Korean name, which is Kim Bitner, but everyone calls her Bitner. And she is the main character of the series. And how can I describe it? Everything goes through what happens to that character. That character is the focal point of the whole series, and especially the attire that she's wearing in the main picture and not in the reflection.
Yeah. Now we've been a little cagey about the attire here because I want you to be the one to reveal that to the audience and not me. Just because I've seen you on other interviews doesn't mean I should spoil. I don't get the right to spoil stuff. So tell us a little bit about this dress and why it makes why it makes her a radiant sight.
Well, when she puts the dress on, anyone that sees her wearing the dress instantly thinks that she is the most beautiful person that they have ever seen. No matter who sees it, man, woman, child, they just think that she's beautiful, radiant, gorgeous, irreplaceable, no matter what. And that's what makes her the radiant sight. It's the dress itself. And when she's not wearing it, she's just plain, boring, another person. As soon as it goes on, it totally transforms who she is.
Now, does she look like a different person when you draw her? When the art's so she doesn't look like her
so
dressed up.
Yeah, so the perception of her, of someone seeing her in it, is totally different to how she would appear without it. But if she necessarily looks at herself in the mirror while she's wearing the dress, she may not see what they see.
So she's still, again, why she's in the mirror as herself. And I've got the PDF pulled up here in front of me. Is it okay to bring the PDF up?
Yeah.
I know it's the first 6 pages. I don't want to give too much away on it here.
Yeah.
So I will share that screen. Hey, I don't have to worry about sound because it's a PDF. Now, what roles are you playing in this? Are you're writing and drawing this, or?
No. There are other more talented people doing the art. I've just come up with a story, and the story is, if we get to do all of it, it will last 6 issues, and it's all planned out. It's all written. It's just a matter of getting it made and hopefully getting it funded.
Okay. Well, this, the story. I like the trope, I guess it is the element of the magical dress that transforms. We've seen it in some superhero stories as well. The guy puts a mask on and suddenly Alter Ego is the one I'm thinking of.
Yes,
the kid finds a mask and puts it on, and suddenly he's a full-grown man in a superhero suit, and he takes the mask off and he's back to being a kid again.
Like Shazam,
Yeah, very much like Shazam. And this could be like a blessing in some ways, but I could see it being very addictive and playing with the person's minds. Like, well, if I really want to get what I want, they won't give it to me, but they'll give it to her.
This is one of the themes that actually comes up in the story as it plays out, because one of the other elements, again, which is you see it quite often in Korean dramas, is there's a very heavy romance element as part of the story. So there's going to be a point where she's wearing the dress and she meets a guy who is the other character who's Thomas. She meets him at a party while wearing the dress, and she falls for him, he falls for her, and they kind of end up splitting apart from the evening, and Thomas doesn't know who she is. And so
very Cinderella.
Kind of, yeah. And part of the story is Thomas is going to be trying to find out who she is, where he can find her, but also she kind of wants to go back to him, but without revealing who she actually is. And so there's the ongoing story there, while at the same time she's realizing, because she's in a bad situation financially, what can she do to kind of better herself in the situation while she's wearing that dress, and the dangers of that.
Yeah, I mean, on the romance side of it, it's very much the old Clark Kent, Superman, Lois Lane love triangle. He could have had Lois anytime he wanted, while he's got that big red S on his chest, but he wanted her to like him for being Clark. So
he
exactly. Would never tell her. So I can understand where she's coming from there.
Yeah, because not only that, it's also it's a bit of a theme that you do get in some Korean dramas. That is, there was one I did watch where it was called "I Am Not a Robot," where this guy who lives at home, he invents a robot, and then he comes across a lady who looks exactly like the robot. And then when the robot fails, the lady steps in for the robot. So he thinks he's talking to the robot when he's actually talking to the lady. And then there comes a point in the story where the lady's trying to be both people. And this is very, very similar.
I can't even imagine why she would want to impersonate the robot in the first place, unless she's like, I can't let him think that his robot broke. I'll pretend to be the robot or something.
It's to do with why the male character has to stay at home the entire time. Like he's allergic to most human physical contact, so he kind of has to stay at home quite often. So he wanted someone else to be at home with him as well.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a Korean drama trope, but there is that duality that comes with it as well, and all the chaos that comes with trying to kind of live a lie and trying to get away with it.
Yeah, I put what am I thinking here? It was a show called My Living Doll, and it was Newmar, and it was the guy invents a robot, and the robot looks like one, and Julie Newmar played the robot. So,
a little bit similar. Or there was
a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there was even another one that I watched. It was called The Secret Life of My Secretary, where again, it's another bit of a Korean drama trope. You have a chaebol heir, and the chaebols are the big, massive corporations in Korea, and there's usually run by like a conglomerate family, and they have like kids who are moving up in the chain, and they'll eventually take it over, and you usually get one of those types of characters in your K dramas, and this is exactly what we've got in our drama. But in The Secret Life of My Secretary, you have this guy who he has an accident. He has a problem with his vision when he has the accident, and there's a point where he actually thinks that his secretary is someone else, and he falls in love with that someone else, and so the secretary starts being two people, starts being the one that he dates and the one that he works with.
Yeah, it does sound like they like to play with that trope quite a bit.
Yes.
Now, is your cover artist, and I jumped topics on you there, but is your cover artist and interior artist the same person?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, and the colorist as well.
Okay. Yeah, because I didn't see it at first with this character, because it just looked so drastically different. But now that I'm seeing her in here, I'm like, oh, there she is. Yep, it all fits now.
Yeah, we've got an artist called Archie, who lives out in Indonesia. He's doing the interiors and he's done the main cover. And our two colorists are Yannick and Ellen, who are both based in Germany, and they've actually worked on some of the Lego stuff that I've written.
So she works in a laundry, which I'm going to guess is a convenient way for her to come into contact with this dress.
No, actually
no.
not.
Okay.
No,
that's what I get for trying to write ahead.
Yeah, no, that just so happens to be a place that pays money.
So how does she? How does the dress enter the picture?
She's at home, and it comes to her in a package.
Oh,
it comes to her via a lawyer,
a fairy god lawyer.
Yeah, so kind of, and there's no wand. It's probably a briefcase, but not a wand. And it's just simple. There's a knock at the door. There's a guy there saying, I represent this person who happened to be your aunt that you maybe didn't know you had. And so she initially thinks, oh, great, maybe I'm going to earn some money out of this. Maybe things are going to be okay. And then he turns and says, no, actually, all you've got is this dress. So do what you want with it. Be happy. Goodbye. See you later.
So is the I've reached the end of it. I keep wanting to read more. I know that it's going to be 6 issues, but now I'm already thinking that this dress could be like a traveling magical item. That the story is different depending on who's got the dress. So and we've seen these kind of things before, like the millionaire. Boy, I'm pulling up all the old uh,
Hmm.
television tropes today. The Millionaire was a series, had different cast every single episode except for the millionaire, and he would just show up out of nowhere and give you this gift, and then you watch this person for an hour and see how it impacted their life and whether they went off the rails or improved themselves, and then he would just walk away at the end of the episode. You'd see him again next time. I could see this dress kind of doing the same thing, entering different people's lives and having different impacts. Is
Uh,
that a larger plan, or is this like, no, I've got this story and it's done?
no, no. I mean, if it was successful and there was to be more stuff told in it, there is an idea in the back of my mind of how it can continue. Because I mean, there are some kind of things you will find out about the dress as the story goes on. You'll find out not so much its backstory, but you'll find out what it was like with the aunt and having the dress, and the impact on Bittner's family and the dress as well. The best way to describe the dress itself is it's kind of akin to the ring from Lord of the Rings. It's an object that's very powerful to the person who has it on, but ultimately can be quite corrupting as
It has to be
well.
thrown into the fiery pit at some point.
Not with this thing. You can't. No.
Oh, it's indestructible?
Well, let's just say some people have tried to take a slice of it. It didn't end well for the scissors.
That's okay. So that's going to make it even more interesting, I think. Now, how many people know what the dress does? Is it just Bitna that is aware? Or
She tells her she lives with her best friend called Chloe, and she will kind of tell Chloe about this because they're best friends. And there's also the aunt that's not in the picture anymore. The aunt that's passed away who knew obviously about the dress as well. But apart from that, no one else knows. Oh, and
so
the lawyer
oh well.
as well that gave her the dress also knows about it.
So
And that,
does Chloe try the dress on and Bitna see its effects?
I can't tell you.
Okay. So I've got two character sketches here. I've unshared so I could bring them up and toggle back and forth between them. I know Bitna. Who is this gentleman here?
So that's Thomas Gould. He is the Chaebol heir, who is the love interest in the story.
Okay, so he's the one who sees her in the dress, falls in love, and then she's trying to snag him.
Yeah, and he's also looking for her as well, or he would like to at least see her again once more.
Very romantic.
He's another kind of trope, if you will, of the Korean drama is with some of these characters is that you have like usually a mother who's trying to push the kid into settling down and having a family, having a wife, having a child, and it's very much the same with this guy. His mum is trying to push him in that direction as well. So he's got this kind of pressure on him to settle down, basically.
Oh yeah, and become a doctor and all that good stuff.
Oh no, he doesn't. He doesn't have to become a doctor. He just has to, because he's got a high power position in the company anyway. Because he's part of the ruling family of that company. He doesn't have to worry about money or anything. All he has to worry about is basically having a family.
Now, not to take this all Ranma 1/2 on you, but what happens if the dress lands on him?
That never comes up in the story,
Okay.
but it would.
Good.
But if he was to try it on, then again, it would totally change everyone's perception of him, and he would probably still be the radiant sight or a radiant sight to anyone that sees him.
You're a very good-looking chap. Why are you wearing that dress?
Yeah, if that's your call, then good for you. Enjoy it.
So So you plan on giving us the full history of the dress, though, throughout this 6 issues, where it came from, how it came to be.
Um, I mean, where it actually, who made it, and all that kind of information has not been detailed. But I know of the region it came from, and how it ended up with Bitnazant in the first place. I know that. But as to what fabrics it's made of, what it's got
Oh,
on
well,
it, all that
sure.
kind of stuff is not told in the story.
I just figure something that powerful is probably far older than just her aunt having been the first to acquire it. That sounds like
Yeah.
something that's been passed down through ages with some sort of witch's curse on it or special enchantment kind of deal.
No, I mean I've not planned to do a curse on it or anything like that. It just be one of those things that kind of comes to being, not
Sometimes you don't
necessarily
have to
with.
explain it.
No, sometimes you don't have to explain it. It just kind of is, But if we get to do any more after this, then maybe some more history of it can be dived into.
Well, then let's make this so successful that you get the chance to do that. Then, um, right now it is a sign up page, and we have the link. Uh, it's right below in the video, but it has been suggested to me in chats before to lock it up at the wait, lock it up at the top of the chat stream. So it's also the pinned chat for folks who are here watching live. So you can go out there, put your email address in, click the little agree to thing, and be notified when you're ready to launch this. Now, we've seen 6 pages finished. How far along are you really at this point?
We've got a couple more pages that have been drawn at the moment. It's slowly getting there, but it is getting there, and also with people's schedules as well, with COVID still going on, we're doing our best to make the book fully made, and I'm pretty confident we will definitely do it, and we
Do
and we
you
will
have
do
a
it. Go on.
do you have a timeline as for when you believe you'll be launching this uh, for funding?
So I believe we're launching it on the 23rd of September. That's when the Indiegogo page fully opens up for funding, and then if we get the funding amount, then we're hoping to deliver in January 2022.
That's not very far out. So less than a month to get funded. What kind of funding levels are you looking at?
Oh, I think it's around about 13 or 1400 euros, I do believe.
Okay.
I could be wrong on that, but I think that's what Mike said it was.
Yeah, so that's about $1,600, which is not
Hmm.
a huge not a huge goal. I don't think that's insurmountable by any means. So
Hmm.
so we'll definitely look for that. I have you put any thought into what kind of add-ons are going to be accompanying this when you launch it?
Mike is the guy who would be able to tell you about that. Uh, I'm assuming he's going to be doing some bookmarks again, like he's done for Life on Quora as well. I don't know if it's an add-on as such, but we are getting a variant cover done for the issue launch.
Oh,
It's
good.
going to be on Indiegogo as well, and the artist is going to be a fantastic guy called Robbie Muso, who is a friend of mine, and he's worked professionally on Transformers for IDW. He's done numerous toy designs for the Transformers brand for Hasbro as well. He also did a Speed Racer comic a few years back. So he's got that anime manga style.
Yeah, he'll have the K-pop kind of thing ready to go with him. Uh, Very good. So I'm gonna have to talk with Mike and make sure that he knows that there's a demand for prints of that cover. That cover is exquisite, um,
Oh yeah,
and deserves to be framed.
we were blown away when we saw that. When Yannick and Alan they sent the initial colours back, we went whoa. That's really good. And then Archie saw it as well, and he went, "Oh, I think we can add a couple of bits on here." And so he added the wallpaper in the background behind the mirror. He put more of a glow on the Bittner as well, and we made the dress more pink at the bottom, so it doesn't look like a wedding dress.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, this is a cover that could absolutely get away with the chromium treatment, not like full chromium, but like spot chromium for
Mm.
like the gilding around the mirror and anything that's metallic in it. Give it that special glow. And when the movie is about when the book
One
is
day.
about something radiant, it's okay for the cover to help communicate that idea. Um,
Mm.
at least I think so. Um,
Yeah,
but
maybe in the future. I mean, for now, we're not even. For now, we love to get the book funded. That's priority one.
yes. Uh, do you do you have like a schedule that you're wanting to get the rest of the books out on, assuming that you can get the funding for the first
Uh,
book? Is like every 3 months, every 6 months?
we haven't really talked about what the full schedule is. We want to see how well it does first with issue one with the initial funding, and then we can kind of plan it out from there.
Yeah. Okay, baby steps.
Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, Mike hasn't really done this with this kind of style before. It's very new for Mike. This is the first thing I've really been involved heavily in terms of crowdfunding as well. So it's for both of us in it's kind of baby steps with this project.
Yeah. Now, how did you bring this to Mike? Because like you said, this is different from what he's done with Life on Korra and other projects.
I mean, Mike is very open. He always says, if you've got some good ideas, feel free to kind of say them. And so we were just chatting one day, and I said to Mike, well, sometimes you ask yourself a question, you go, well, you're watching all these K dramas. If someone said to you, what kind of K drama would you want to write? What would it be? So I wrote down maybe 5 or 6 ideas, and I just said to Mike, "Oh, I've got these ideas. What do you think of this one?" And one of them was that. And he went, "Yeah, sounds great." Okay, that was easy. All right, what do we do now? Like, oh, okay. Well,
Oh,
now
now we
you've
have to
got
write it.
yeah, really. I mean, when I started writing it, I didn't know Mike had a limitation on the amount of issues, and then I got to about issue 5, and I wasn't even halfway through kind of the story that I had planned because the K drama runs for about 16 1 hour episodes on
Oh yeah.
Netflix or Korean TV. So that was also in the back of my head. And then he went, "Oh, no, you've only got 6 issues if we do the whole thing." I was like, oh, okay. So I had to go back and rewrite half the story and kind of condense it to fit
No,
6 issues.
you just take the first 3 issues, make that issue one. You make them bigger
But
books.
oddly enough, issue 1 stayed exactly the same.
Well, it looks interesting. I'm definitely getting behind this one, and I will be encouraging other folks to sign up for it. Um,
Thank
like
you.
like we talked about earlier, there's not a whole lot more that we can talk about because it is just a sign up, and we do know what the story's about, and we have seen the art. Um, so I think anything else would just kind of belabor the point. Um,
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we're going to get a trailer put out for this as well for the Indiegogo
very
campaign.
important.
And one of my friends, who is actually a professional voice actress, hoping she's going to do some narration for it.
That'd be
But
very nice. We're seeing more and more really nice professional animation coming out for crowdfunded trailers. It's almost like, yeah, I think we've kind of left the comic book market and we're going into the making of cartoons now. We just don't realize it because we're utilizing them as a tool instead of as an end product. But
well,
eventually someone's going to figure it out.
cartoons are cool.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And yeah, I could I keep my fingers crossed for you that this makes the jump from manga to anime.
Yeah, well, I mean, in a perfect world, it would be made into a full Korean drama, but you never know. You never know.
Absolutely. All right, Martin, thank you so much for bringing the Radiant site onto the channel with us today. best of luck with it. I don't think you'll have much of a problem. This is going to be an easy sell, I think. And working with Mike Jimmy, you're working with a known quantity. We know that he delivers on the products he stands behind. So with that, folks in the chat, thank you for showing up. Don't have a show without you. And
thanks, RJ.
Share this video out. I never ask you to like it because, if you don't like me, you don't like me, and I can't help that. But do share it and get Martin in front of more eyeballs so that your friends can make their own decision as to whether or not they want to get on this list. And I didn't ask, but usually when you sign up for a list, you get something extra other than just being notified of the launch. So you get a 25% discount on the copy if you sign up on the list. Very good reason to get in now so that you can get that discount. Do you have an idea of what the issue is going to cost?
No, Mike will be able to tell you that.
Okay.
All I'm really focusing on at the moment is obviously with the story done, is just like pushing the artist and also the colorists to fit it into their schedules as well, because they get quite a lot of work with Lego, and some of it is partially my fault as well with the stories that I'm doing. So that's my main focus. I want to get this book done. I really
Absolutely.
do.
Okay, you write the book and let Mike handle the business end of it.
A little bit, but yeah. Also, obviously, I'm there to help Mike with promoting the book and getting the word out as well.
All right, we'll just keep doing that, and definitely when you do have a physical launch, come back so we can go over the whole campaign in detail.
Oh yeah,
and take a look at more of what's going to be inside the Radiant site.
Oh yeah.
Everyone else, thanks for coming.